OKFM 101.7.
And somewhere by far National Cathedral no na yewura Okudzeto Ablakwa dimpa eko fai by se ampa nidi no odimienu kodu ba bi kwa no there were some revelations say so oba senatia ne tin numbers wo mienu ni date of birth nso ye mienu na asem no abobokoi na yewura Reverend Kusibuaten so de ho asem court na what go court no na yemfa I heard that there's a ruling intimi nkotie emfiri Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa in China yehwe mira me moche
yo mini amejo so bibia boko
pa na mami musa efa Northton spillage baye na amanfo ye didi hu komo now the storm is over bibia the din ana etise ho yemfa me free answer
yo medase edikan mamenchia tiefonya na menchia okayfm forso ejuma pa moye mamembo mo abaso sena ukaya no spillage storm media it is over. The spillage storm is over now, so the consequences of the spillage that storm is not fully over. Meneo kasa say Jaguswa ye chain a housing project from the government and a compensation for all the victims. Compensation, no.
Now, why compensation?
Compensation. Tried. Very basic. So, when a disaster of this nature happens, omuluzi, omu farms, omuluzi, omu fish ponds, omuluzi, omu jewelry, omu properties, omu dying. It is only a matter of right under the Ghanaian constitution, and in any civilized society, you don't leave the victims of disaster to fend for themselves. Every responsible government looks out for the victims of this disaster or a disaster of this nature, and that is a right that the people are enjoined to claim.
There was this June 3rd disaster. I see your circle. We were waiting, sir. Empokra no car company no ejano nam to mu no come out with package B for victims no more wu no more prepare no near there ama the anti government in that time no take the matter up so basic company no on behalf of the victims and also ama na no day we see a president ba no the okache mo no se mo akwa se mo nto aba ma no but wababa eti dipa no kwa se mo nto aba ma no why go and seek this compensation say ni ahwe mo
to be factual na me wa ban mo at the time that June 3rd disaster occurred. Me kai pass ye release sika. You can even Google, you can check omoko hospital aban and etia omo hospital bills ama omo aban release sika, and through the then Ministry of Gender and Social Protection, they were catered for. Ebia, where you have a point, any the company, the owner of the gas station, I know the Menkai said they were sued and asked to pay compensation. You probably have a point there, but in terms of buying. Being responsive, compensating the victims, that was done.
Okay.
There there was ample compensation. And Ubekai Kra, even there were some reports somewhere even asking for more at the time. So they need more, particularly Omoana, even though they had been discharged, they had to go back for plastic surgery and other things. And the Kaiser are buying a release additional funding for those people. And that has always been the tradition and the expectation of citizenry under our constitution, under our laws. So a disaster of this nature happens, there ought to be compensation. And to be very honest with you, it has taken just too long. Disaster we see September, October last year. It's been more than 8 months since this disaster, and buying a response. And you have a point, sir. Osha Senate President Akufo-Addo Baho, Beniye Kasaya, Kasaya to Abamana. It clearly does not inspire confidence. Sir, Yanshiya, Yabechans, and then he will hand over to the next president. Intiana, my instructing me lawyers, sir, among and put it together a case for compensation to compel the government. And Meneo Casa to say, my lawyers, they are putting the data together, making sure we don't miss any victim. Ubekaya Nadmufo statistics on Moody Toja, the victims are a lot, almost 11,000 victims of the spillage who had to be relocated, who had to be put in displaced camps, or more sure, or Mubibia, or more dorsal. They are in the thousands. But on my part, beyond compensation, my donations, then I buy, you set up a trustee, what we call the Accountability Elders Council, and the donations in Echo or be a bank account. I wasn't a signatory to the bank account, and there has been total transparency into a Sasikano and maybe become and a YDC housing into you see a dime, to me, I take care of 600 people. And in terms of housing, that's what I've been able to, with the benevolence of Ghanaians, we have been able to achieve. And then beyond the housing, students now who are affected, full scholarship, they've been able to return to school. Teachers also who were affected and had to leave, over 130 teachers. Also, Yatia Omurenta we found accommodation for them, and we've been able to attract them back into the constituency. And also, Yahian Wejuma teachers returning back to the constituency. They are now helping to make up for the lost academic time, because Ubekaya for more than 6 months now in Kolano to Minku school, because almost schools and a survey as the displaced camps. Then I must also indicate, sir, in terms of the schools, you have to make higher renovations, to me, mobilizing resources. Schools now a survey as camps, you have to make renovated, and we'll be able to provide the needed learning materials. The academic work I resume. And finally, I have been able to ensure, sir, at least the people living in the tent, because of the rainy season. Many occasions say a bit or more tent, but you have to me identify in penny for or more 60 and above. And to me, I rent it at least temporary accommodation, more 1 year rent, to move them out of the tents into decent accommodation. Because in Siono Tosana, the nature of the tent is not for permanent accommodation. They are very weak. it affects them. They have to relocate and all of that. At least senior citizens, no, you to me abwa omo, you renti ama omo. In terms of the consequences, as I said, no, we are not out of the woods. The storm is not over, but we continue to do our best as local leaders on the ground.
Yamra asamwa by National Cathedral. The nam yasuma court. There's a ruling. Na any saying.
And and appeals court. Omoma ruling on one of the numerous appeals. Reverend Victor Kusibuatin, Kwabna Edu Jemfi. Interesting, or call court, or say your friend of Kwabna Edu Jemfi. It's your move for a case now, Kwabna Edu Jemfi versus Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. The ruling, and it's appeal now, or the buyer, no, the grounds now, send any lawyer, a couchy grounds, no, the panel, a 3-member appeals court panel, or more, I can say the grounds, no, incompetent, na inadmissible. It does not comply with the rules of court. The grounds, no, have been struck out. That is what happened at the appeals court. Into we no higher on say or lose the contempt case or high court, no, and or call appeals court or call through. For Bekaya, or they may initially call high court, no say, or more enchimintum na my engaging in conduct which is contemptuous of the court. If you lose that one at the high court, and no na wa appeal it. Or sign a call human rights court, for Bekaya, say, may ma violate ne privacy. The way me publish ne information about the passport, maybe diplomatic passport, the Ghana card, the voter's ID card, or say my violating the privacy. But in that judgment, no, human rights court judge, no, Eka say, unim nipanukra wa appear before no say nipano ye Victor Kusibuatin na kwa medu chefi. Enti the privacy bang ena ne validity because enye say obia ye ne guy name and a nickname. Where a unique identity, say, or operate as Victor Kusibuatin or his separate mother, or ba or no ya fufro, the date of birth ya fufro, the 10 ya fufro, or crowd different passports, or operate as Kwabna Edu Jemfi, the date of birth so a different 2 years apart, the 10 a different voters ID card crown there, Osha Sena or Tuaba. And also 2016 or Tuaba as Victor Kusibuatin 2020 or Tuaba as Kwabna Edu Jemfi. Enti Basa Manya, there's clearly a case of double identity. Enti human rights court no Omoka said the wayano a criminal. Enti he should even be advised. And also no wa appealing. Enti the only frustration is even though me, I'm not afraid of court cases, because my name say Ejumana Maye as part of my constitutional mandate. Sabi Ghana for and to Aba Amaye say your parliament wa any rubber stamp. Sikabia Abain di Baba say oh you spend this way because Yankai say Sikasemo National Cathedral Sikasem and I may issue 2.6 million board no or more be reported to Parliament say oh you are 2.6 million to JNS Talent Center Limited. Kwabna Edu Jemfi and make us say you see National Cathedral identity na JNS Talent Center Limited or munya construction firm or munya architect na investigations na mayeno they are not even part of the company associated to this project in Tiabanisena mose ye approve ya Sika 2.6 million and Yashenosa. I started to investigate. As a diligent member of parliament. That is my constitutional mandate. Some people have tried to create the impression that ABR, personal issues. Reverend Victor Kusibuatin, my name no. I don't have any. Media na protecting the public purse. Na my name say it will open this can of worms. Na my name say or to board her as Reverend Victor Kusibuatin. Now so or another company in a different name, and it has now emerged say or multiple companies, at least 12 in each of the names. They engage in all of these things. But the frustration is since of filing all of these cases, criminal court, human rights division, appeals court, on no on back court, one on back court that, not even once. Mina debia and time as I said, me spend it on my constitutional duties, my parliamentary oversight. Now here court, you see Braha, and the question is, on my being, where can this happen anywhere in the world? Courts are ruling, say, you have engaged in criminal conduct, a double identity scam. And woman, back court to be and complaining, you are the free man. You are filing all kinds of cases. And who frustrated harassing MPs. I mean, the abuse of judicial process to intimidate a member of parliament carrying out his constitutional mandate. Yen reflect it as a country. Say, on my being and away because of. Mina Victor Kusibuatin Cabinet Agency. It has been exposed that my engaging in criminal conduct. And Yamina Mika Munka in human rights judgment. Conduct bordering on criminality. That is what the Human Rights Court said. Police and friend Omuncheno, he is all powerful. Over 2 million. Court, appeal court.
Honorable.
Always filing processes. And this is the third time we're losing, but clearly he's not going to stop.
Who do you know now the coin? One no idea ben na o siki release ben na o siki from the court.
Benjamin na me call court.
Me say no call court to release ben na o siki.
First, I call high court or say yen chemintum na me have engaged in contempt of court. Now he wants me jailed. Can you believe that? Me mong. And I'll call human rights court, say my violating the privacy. I should pay damages. And he has another defamation suit, so me defaming. Meanwhile, court no earlier more ruling say something in our media to judge. I have the documents, I have the evidence. But clearly abuse of the judicial process. Say yen harassing member of parliament or per se or court no injunctive me. A jumana me no mamin to me yet mamin to me boni ding. I shouldn't talk about him to give him all the right to continue to do what he's doing. I mean on my being here. On my being here. Until me mong and my subject to all of this judicial harassment. Or no on back court that not once. But that is a human I see. These are the consequences. These are the ramifications. And for God and country,
as it stands now, we need the state of the National Cathedral. Anything?
Oh, National Cathedral, they are collapsing. It's a mess. And above a year, the world's most expensive pit, $58 million. All we see is a pit, a monarchs here.
Oh, but Adana, many and Penifoni Dean Comono. One which they must say. Now, the pit as you see it, no, one with the answer, they need about 100 million. No, they are caught cra Nadia. They said Nadia Nebent, and Cradia, or the buyer near erect it. Neck say, both a stretch and Arctic ship.
Infant number has $100 million no free.
And then I go
because project way or more fun no credit and in Yamisru and started. Anka almost see and no more can no press project a Ghana project. Yen discuss it. Parliament, Yambobo. na yen sika ye betumi spend na ya approve it. But mo be catch say mo fa Ghana for sika a private project. Mo amu raise mo funds. Only for me to discover say ni nyina ye ntro na a Ghana for sika. At the time I mechi omono na omo yi $58 million out of the consolidated fund without parliamentary approval. Finance minister by parliament, you're querying or say, oh, now may use contingency vote. Contingency vote, and I had a major project of this nature, infrastructure, multi-year laid infrastructure project. Where does that happen? And share $58 million way. Sika a brew over 700 million cedis. Nema bet to me agenda 111 or more bre. Share how many agenda 111 we could have built. How many courts across the country could have been used to construct acquire hospitals in the various communities where they don't even pregnant women, they don't have maternity, no pediatric wards, no.
But on the way, said the president's vision and they say, "Ka o si National Cathedral na onyankopon abetena yemu." Wahu sadia no tika de ekeke nyina no awurade National Cathedral na ba bom paya said the Solomon kan say awurade so obi kwa ahokyeremu na wodane nani kire edifice a media ma we awurade tie ne pa bi aka sadia ni baya ka ye niam nyina be ko yie ye bom paya ne biti.
Oh, maybe as a New Testament Christian, Sunday dia yakwa sorry dia mete osofo no kachwe and what is also in the Bible. And he said, in the New Testament era, the Holy Spirit lives with us. Now we are the temple. Until let's keep our bodies holy. Now we are the temple. New Testament era, Nyame emba embetina. Eni nyame nka say or you're homeless. Na or here Ghana temple to come and live in. And sana yeniama bekuye. Into that whole doctrine, that whole interpretation of the Bible, it's at variance with what we are taught by the priests themselves, eminent clergy, and what is in the Bible. Minhuda say New Testament era anywhere say nyame omaya ombesi cathedral amanono obe movie from heaven now ababetina ho ansa na muniama bekuyi. Having seen that, Uber to me actually scripture back where I'm willing to concede. As Christians, no New Testament era. You see, look, I leave the Holy Spirit with you. Your body is a temple of the Lord. And if you do the right thing, you are holy, you are upright. The Holy Spirit will live within you, and you manifest the glory of God. And where from this suddenly, Nyamibe Shrine just say, you see temple, and it doesn't matter how we build that temple. You try and try. If we tell the people we are not using their money, we go and demolish properties. Picture demolitions are also. And yet, Cathedral where Anka Minuka says say, judges bungalows, our Hof Fefe, Mali ambassadors residence, our Hof Fefe, scholarship secretariat, our Hof Fefe, Anka passport head office, our Hof Fefe, Judicial Training Institute, Fefe, Comsys IT firm, Omo headquarters, our Hof Fefe, Waterstone Realty Apartment Complex, new luxury apartment complex. Ya demolishing Yama Winyana. Say you basic cathedral, and look at where we are. Into demolitions, we haven't even looked at that cost and at the cost of compensation. And we have not even come to now consider, the consequences of all the people who we have hurt, who have to be compensated, who we have removed from their buildings and all of that. I mean, it's like a moment of madness. But we'll say, Ubeyed and Nema Okukumu secrecy. You won't engage the people. Because promise, it was not a manifesto promise. Yantida. It was not the reason why the president was voted for. And you wonder what is going on. And look at the consequences. And all those asking for accountability, no accountability. Yebisa audit more than a year. Almost or more inviting an audit firm, top 4, to audit. Up to now, they can't release the report. Indiana, also for Kukudam, our Munina resigning. Pastor Otabel ko, Archbishop Duncan Williams ko, Bishop Dati Hayward Mills ko, Reverend Sud Anaba. Almost they will not sacrifice their decades of Christian reputation, Christian godliness on this mess of a project. Project a young can in Tronkwa diversion of resources. Minu Kasa say, carry summers, what come here $6 million they are called.
No, I'm by say and yes 6 million as you put it. Name amount na undisclosed.
Yes, $6 million. Documents on one Kasa Deba Parliament. $6 million.
And now I'm the carry summers and Fanya de Maye.
Say or Korezi Sika Maye. Now or your top contacts. Meanwhile, best practice they say we a fundraiser. Who Korezi Sikana? Now your more commission. You can negotiate your commission. Maybe a 5% and not 10%. Mean da say Obi Betam Sika, I'm going to do fundraising for you. How? Where does that happen? Omanya ye ni Sika. We go and beg for far less. I can show you the annual public debt report every year under PFMA. Has to report. We go and beg for 1.2, $1.5 million, $2.5 million, $4 million, all kinds of paltry sums. Now you come $6 million. Say or raise funds am I up to now on fire tro and buy it. He's keeping us $6 million. Incredible. Architect David Ajay was charging us just one restaurant or design here $5.7 million. I mean, we're spending like there's no tomorrow. Public funds, no parliamentary approval. I think Bonnie Bena
so far, they are now ruling nearby. Is it but was one answer be a brain because fair complete?
Well, the lawyer indicated more filing other appeals and a defamation suit, and also and there are all kinds of cases. That is their strategy, sir. Or more frustrating me. Nah. The bonino we did not mean to make no more injecting me. Abuse of the judicial process is going on all over the place. But as hazards of the job, I would continue. But I'm confident that no Grenadier true stand.
Okay.
They will continue to lose. This is the third loss. I'm waiting for the fourth one, fifth one also in check. Because I don't see how Miami due diligence. I'm armed with the truth. All these matters, my inviting ministers to Parliament, or more about confirming, and chair and foreign minister about Parliament, but confirming say investigation now or more issue diplomatic passport in the name Kwabena agency. How is any court going to overturn this? And now it's going to indict me say me macho and draw. How? When ministers of state, Abba Parliament. Abe confirming the investigative job now, the parliamentary oversight that I conducted. Clearly, no, it's just young wasting the time. But I'm glad, sir, at least the judges are beginning to see through and they are awarding costs against him. It's just that cost no and shutdown also, sir.
Okay.
And draw more awarded 3,000 cedi costs against him.
Then Moji.
Well, Omuntia so far. He awarded so many costs against him, but so far, Muntia. But really, no, me personally, I mean, my lawyer said they can use it for any charity work because I've always maintained, say, it's not for any personal gain and our personal glory. Even though Honorable Gibre. Okay. So more, yeah. Okay, so more, a lot of charity. No problem. Not to me, I redirect it.
Now, Mamimra, with issues a far snaked, you see how much
unfortunately, as I said, we court this year. Maybe I bet me reserve no for
another time. Because can Mammy Elizabeth or Henny, I bought share of snit, I write up binti
exactly. The person may respond to Pachamon from your channel of Bacho, and person judges no better than my early.
Bacho, yes, that's a pa.
Yo, Miss Vidas.
He said, I say, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, MP for Northtown, and I actually and come K101.7 so in Pacho.
OKFM 101.7.